The year is 326 BC. Alexander the Great is campaigning in the east to complete his conquest of Asia. He has already subdued many Indian tribes, but in doing so has made an enemy of King Porus. He has drawn up for battle on the Hydaspes River to determine whether the young king of Macedonia may come to rule the known world. When Alexander approached the river, he saw it heavily defended by Porus's troops. There was no visible fording point for miles. He therefore stationed his main army in full view of Porus and sent his scouts to search for a place to cross the river. Eventually, a suitable fording point was found several miles upstream. Alexander left Craterus in command of the holding force by the river, while he himself took 6,000 infantry and cavalry under the cover of darkness and crossed the river. However, when dawn broke, it was clear that the Macedonians had not arrived at the opposite bank, but on a large island in the middle of the river. Alexander therefore had to perform another crossing, and by the time his troops had reached the opposite bank, it was broad daylight. To counter this threat, Porus sent his son with 4,000 cavalry and chariots to halt Alexander's advance at the river. However, Alexander crushed the Indian counterattack, and in the process, Porus' son was killed. With this force crushed, Alexander now moved onto the offensive and counterattacked. He stationed his cavalry, including himself, on Porus' left flank. Porus, sensing his left-wing cavalry under threat, moved his right-wing cavalry to his left. Alexander now noticed how exposed Porus' right flank was, and sent Coenus to outflank them and to catch Porus' cavalry in a vice. Meanwhile, he himself led a wide flanking maneuver on Porus' left wing. Alexander had now caught the remaining cavalry in a vice and set about destroying them. With the threat to his flank now crushed, Alexander now ordered his infantry to advance. Now, Porus felt it was time to unleash his secret weapon, his elephants. The phalanx now found itself in a brawl with the enemy war elephants. Although the elephants presented a great threat, the phalanx managed to gain the upper hand. By this time, Craterus had started to attack the enemy holding force by the river. Outflanked and completely surrounded by Alexander's men, Indian resistance simply crumbled. Porus, however, fought on until the last man, and eventually surrendered to Alexander. The Battle of the Hydaspes River was the last major battle Alexander fought in. It secured his dominion over the Indian people. However, after the battle, Bucephalus, Alexander's trusted horse, died. It is not certain whether he died from battle wounds or from old age. To mark his victory, Alexander founded the city of Nicaea, and to honor his late friend's passing, he built the city of Bucephala.